Ooh, welcome to the Geekcentric podcast, where we are willing to get blown up, shot, crashed, thrown through windows, and dropped from the highest of heights, all to bring you the latest in news and reviews from around the Geekiverse. What could possibly go right? What's up, geeks? I'm Kev, and this is the Geekcentric podcast. If you're joining us for the first time, what took you so long? But also welcome, because we are a podcast focusing on the world of movies, TV shows, games, toys, and collectibles, and all things geek-centric. So throw on a helmet and buckle your seatbelts and join us for all of the bombastic, spoiler-free details of The Fall Guy, a love letter to stunt work and the brave men and women who risk it all for all of the danger and none of the credit. You know, it takes an entire team of brilliant and brave minds to put together the stunt work that makes action films so much fun, and that is no different here at Geekcentric. Joining me for tonight's review are two wonderful geeks who are so talented, they do all their own stunts. What's up, Megan and Darcy? Are you as amped as I am after seeing that movie?
How's it going?
How do you feel like you could jump out of a two-story window or hang from the back of a moving car?
I don't know if I could do that. I feel like I wouldn't last very long, or I'd hurt myself really badly. I'm not the most coordinated person out there.
Yeah, I feel like I would love to try, but I don't know how it would go.
Wow. You know, I'd love to be able to call you guys a bunch of wussies, but who am I kidding? I would be physically capable or willing to do any of those things either. But what I am able to do is introduce the movie we're about to review. Of course, we're here to talk about The Fall Guy from real life stuntman and director David Leitch, the blockbuster director of Bullet Train, Deadpool 2, Atomic Blonde, and Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, comes his most personal film yet. Joining Leitch are Oscar nominee Ryan Gosling and Golden Globe winner Emily Blunt. Inspired by the 1980s TV series, The Fall Guy also stars Winston Duke, Stephanie Sue, Hannah Waddingham, and Aaron Taylor Johnson. A huge thanks to Universal Pictures for allowing us to attend the fan event in Toronto so we could bring you our thoughts on the movie before its theatrical release on May 3rd. Why don't we jump right in and start with our overall impressions of the movie and what worked? Meg, I'd love to start with you.
Absolutely. It was so much fun. It was a large action-packed comedy and very, very well. It's so hard to say anything about like my expectation going in and then what we got out of it because I really am trying not to spoil anything for people, and it was just so fantastic and not what I was expecting.
Yeah, this is again, it's a love letter to just movies in general, not even just the action-packed films. It pokes fun at everything we love about movies, and it does it in a way
Totally.
that is so self-referential, and it's such a blast. It's such a fun ride to go along. The action scenes are incredible. Again, like the with David Leitch being a stuntman himself, you can see he really has an eye for how to shoot the stunts and just make them feel so much larger than life. And it's exactly what you get from this movie. It's so well done.
Yeah, you know, I think with a movie like this, you expect the action to be good. You expect the action to deliver, and it absolutely does here. But what I think really surprised me about this film was the heart. The You can just feel the amount of love that the people responsible for this project having this to its audiences. And while they never quite break the fourth wall, it really does wink heavily at the audience and almost it invites you in to be a part of the joke and be a part of the fun with them. And I think that's one of the more successful aspects of the movie.
Mhm. Yeah, I think one of my favorite parts about this movie is the fact that the comedy always hits. Like,
Oh
there's not
yeah.
a point where you're thinking like, "Oh, that joke doesn't fit in the place" or anything like that. It's just everything about it feels so real, and you're laughing for the right reasons when they try and get those laughs. It's just, again, so much heart behind this movie. You can really feel it with everything you see.
Well, and there's so many laughs to go around. Everyone in this movie gets their times to deliver, and they all knock it out of the park. Were there any real standout performances that you guys wanted to talk about?
I mean, like the most iconic Ryan Gosling that he could ever be. I I mean, discussed this a whole bunch leaving the theater, but I could not see another leading man in that role. He did such a phenomenal job. You can tell He respected the role as a comedian, as a star actor, but also from the stunt perspective. Um, I really, really appreciated that. And Hannah Waddingham is one of my favorite actresses out there, and she just does another, blow it out of the park kind of role. She's fantastic in this movie.
Mhm. Again, the whole cast seems to really shine. Like you said, Kev, they all get their moment in the spotlight, at least to land a joke or just have a big set piece and just again, I think I was trying to call my favorites, and they all have a great moment. But like Winston Duke throughout the movie was just a delight. I didn't know he was in the cast at all, and so when I saw him pop up on screen, I was looking forward to what we would get. And just he did not drop the ball. He was the nerd in all of us, basically, with a bunch of movie references from behind the scenes and stuff like that. And just yeah, he was great. Hannah Wadding was great. Everyone in this movie was fantastic.
Absolutely. But I think you started off there, Meg, by saying like Ryan Gosling oozes so much charm and charisma in this. Like
Yep.
they were just on fire whenever they shared a scene together. And I thought it just really did such a wonderful job of making you care about these characters and to root for them as they're going through their difficulties, shall we say.
Again,
Totally.
yeah, the chemistry between the two was phenomenal. You could feel it from scene one, and just getting to go on this journey with them, and again try and mend this broken relationship or the past. It was so much fun, and again, a lot of the humor came from just the banter between the two of them.
Yes, that's what it was. It's not only their emotional chemistry, but the comedic chemistry was fantastic. And sometimes you get these duos in comedies where like one of them's a little bit stronger than the other comedically, but in this one they were right on par with each other throughout the entire film, which just added to the greatness.
Absolutely, and great job with that. But it's also a tribute and a love letter to stunt work and the action films of the '80s. And so I thought pairing that with a rock and roll soundtrack, very heavily influenced by the '80s, was a great call there. And like that soundtrack was bumping the whole movie.
Oh yeah, every time a new song came on, it was like, oh yeah, this one. And again, it sets the tone perfectly. Like you said, trying to capture that magic of the '80s and just the larger than life action set piece that you got from those movies. And the soundtrack just drives it home. And the fact that the way they call back to certain tracks throughout the movie, and you're just like, I was not expecting that to be hitting the emotional feels with this, rock ballad from the '80s. But that's exactly what they managed to do with the soundtrack. It was great.
They sure did. And I'd like to also mention that they featured one of my favorite songs.
You were dancing in your seat next to me. I was
I
almost telling you to
did.
stop.
I was singing All Too Well, Taylor's version out loud in that theater.
It was hard not to, when the charisma man himself
I
is
mean,
the lyrical genius.
weeping.
You feel his pain so well. Yeah, it was excellent. But Darcy, you mentioned
Mhm.
the big set pieces, and this movie certainly delivered. And I love how there are instances that kind of joke about, oh, we'll just do it in post. We'll just use the visual effects to get that shot practical route. We even got to see some of the stunts being performed as the credits were rolling, and you could just see how much work would have had to go into creating the big action set pieces throughout this movie.
Yeah, and that's another cool thing about this movie is because it's from the point of view of a stuntman and we're on the set behind the scenes in the movie, just getting to see that paired with what actually was going on, you could really tell it's coming from a place of experience. Again, David Leitch grew up like lived his life on these sets of movies and getting, hit by cars and blown up and all this stuff. And way that he goes and brings that to these stunts is incredible.
Yep, yep. It's definitely a film made by people who love film in so
Hmm.
many different aspects. I even at the beginning of the movie, I was really like, "Oh wow, if you work in this industry, this is going to hit you in in the feels. Like you really feel like you're on a set and you're
Hmm.
watching a film unfold in front of you, and I think that's such a cool lens to view a movie out of because from our perspectives, people who are not part of the movie industry, we don't really understand completely what it's like to be on set, and I think this movie does a really good job not only from the stunt perspective, but as a camera
Across the
operator,
board.
as a director, as a sound person, like you get a little taste of what it is like to work on a film set, which is kind
Yeah,
of
and
cool.
at one point, a character gets to blow something up and just says, "I love my job," and I'm sure that everyone responsible for this had a moment during this movie where it was like, wow, that was really cool to do. I thoroughly enjoyed that. That was fun because you could feel them having fun and it was just contagious. Like, that is one of the more fun movie experiences I've had in a while. It just
Mhm.
didn't take itself too seriously at all. And I think that really worked well for the film.
Well, and I think too, something we always talk about when we go to these movies for this podcast, you overanalyze things sometimes, or you really start to try to dissect movies. This was just so much fun because the people who created it had such a good time that I don't really know what to dissect. Like it was just so great.
Again, if anything, the things you're dissecting is just how they're, doing a little, window into the movie making world and just Hollywood in general. The fact that
Yes.
there's a one scene where you just see past movies of Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, and you're just like, I have seen all these posters before in theaters. Like they just do such a good job of just bringing everything home and just rounding out this movie with such heart. Again, heart is the biggest way thing to describe this movie with because it has so much of it.
Yes, and it being this big action-packed movie, having those references that make us feel like we are a part of that world helps ground the action, which is also a huge bonus point.
Mhm.
Well, you did say that in our role here with Geekcentric, we do often find ourselves dissecting a movie and maybe looking for some negatives. Was there anything that missed the mark worse than a stunt gone wrong with this film, or did you find yourself just enjoying it start to
Yeah, I
finish?
mean, I think I came out of there having a hard time trying to think of what I didn't like about it because everything landed so well and everything served a purpose in the movie and the comedy just felt like natural. Everything about it was so again full of heart. It was hard for me to come out of there and be like, well, this didn't really work because at the end of the day, I really enjoyed that movie, and to me, that's what a movie going experience is. If you can kill 2 hours and come out on the other side having enjoyed yourself, then the movie did its job, and this one goes above and beyond that.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about the fact that and discussing it with our other geek Nate, that David Leitch is well known for maybe bringing a joke a little bit too far and doing it too many times. Just you know, it ends up not being that funny the last time. And there was one moment where I laughed, I laughed, I laughed, I laughed, and then I went, oh, because it did happen maybe one too many times, but that's really me dissecting and trying to find something negative. I still thought it was funny.
Are you suggesting maybe he was beating a not
Oh.
so dead horse, if you will? Um, yeah, that might have popped up one too many times, but no, like you said, for the most part, the jokes just landed. Dialogue that again just endears these characters to the audiences so well. So I think it's almost like Leach reined himself in here. He didn't really try to push too many of those jokes one too many times, and I think the movie works all the better for that reason. But as we have learned now in the world of stunts, timing is everything. If you wait even a second too long, you could throw off the timing and coordination of the entire Keep on Moving and get to our final thoughts and scores for the movie. Today, we'll be doing that out of five inflatable crash pads. Megan, lead us off.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm sure you can hear it through our voice and our opinions of the entire review here, but that was an incredibly enjoyable movie. I had a blast, no pun intended, from beginning to end. It was such a fun ride, fantastic chemistry between all actors on the set, and really a really cool lens to look at film through because like the movie mentions a few times, stunt people don't get the respect that they deserve, and I think this movie really brought that part of filmmaking to light, and I appreciate that. So I'm gonna give this 5 out of 5 inflatable crash pads.
Yeah. Yeah, I am
Awesome.
right there with you, Meg. Again, like I said, to me, movies are just meant a way to escape and enjoy a new story for however long the runtime is. And if you come out of that experience having enjoyed yourself even the slightest, the movie did its job. And this one, again, I enjoyed it so much. There is the action, again, the chemistry between all actors, like you were saying, Meg. Just everything about this movie landed so well, and I can't recommend it enough for people to go check it out because this is a movie to go see in theaters. And just if you like movies, you'll love this movie because it is born from a love of movies entirely. So yeah, right there with you with a 5 out of 5 inflatable crash pads.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a love letter to filmmaking. And as we've said countless times already, you can just feel the passion that everyone responsible for this movie brought to it. And I think if you're a fan of movies, you will take something away from this. Be it the action, be it the romantic elements, all of the actors are tremendous in this. You have characters that you love to love and characters that you just love they fall on, they're always welcome on the screen, and you're looking forward to seeing what they're going to do next and say next. And I just think this won't be a movie that's celebrated at the Academy Awards next year. I don't think, unless they do introduce a stunt category, which would be absolutely
Hmm.
awesome. But I think this will go down as one of the most enjoyable films of the year through and through. And I think, yeah, like you said, there's get out, see it in theaters, meant to be seen. And you know, Ryan Gosling, he deserves all of our love and admiration. He is just the coolest dude going. And this is like such a fun movie to celebrate how cool of a guy
Oh yeah,
he
there's room
is,
for two
and he's
Ryans
just
in everybody's heart.
Oh, there sure is.
absolutely, absolutely.
2
Yeah,
Canadian
this will be the
Ryans.
summer of the two Canadian Ryans for sure, I think. So, with all of that said, I am totally on board with you guys, and I too am giving this a perfect 5 out of 5 inflatable crash pads. Well, our director is yelling cut as we get to the end of another successful podcast shoot. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you listen to podcasts. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and leave us a glowing review. If you don't, you might just find out how well our fight choreography practice has been going. And we'd love to know, are you excited to see this action rom-com that just oozes with chemistry? Favorite action movie that's based on the incredible stunt work? If so, hit us up at wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. Or if a bit like being bitten in the nards by a French-speaking dog, reach out on our socials. Darcy, where can they do that?
Reach out to us on Twitter at GeekcentricYT or on Instagram at We Are Geekcentric. Man, I'm stirring a lot tonight.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You're amped up. I get it. I get it. It's all good. But we have a ton of other great episodes covering the latest in movies and TV shows. Check out our spoiler-free review for the Netflix series Dead Boy Detectives, Amazon Season 1, Elevation Pictures, and A24 Civil War, as well as Monkey Man starring Dev Patel. We have our ongoing watch club for The Bad Batch Season 3, which sadly is wrapping up this week with the series finale. I know our own Bad Batch has had a ton of fun recording that for you guys. So please do follow along as they wrap up a beloved series. Plus, we have a ton of interviews available either here where you listen to podcasts or over on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/wearegeekcentric, including our chat with producer writer Sugar, as well as our interview with the cast of Renegade Nell and our interview with supervising producer Jake Castorina from X-Men 97. There's just so much more, and we have a ton of great content on the way as the summer blockbuster season has officially started with the arrival of The Fall Guy in theaters on May 3rd. Thanks again for joining us, and another huge thanks to our friends at Universal Canada for the early screening. Until next time, Megan, Darcy, thanks for joining me as we say,
Laters.
Bye.
get home safe, guys.